fuck with Hollywood Code. I'm with Marla G, bro. Flying Holly Grove chicks to my Hollywood shows. And I wanna tell you something that you probably should know. This that Slumdog Millionaire Bollywood flow. And my real friends never hearing from me. Fake friends write the wrong answers on the mirror for me. That's why I pick and choose. I don't get shit.
Welcome to another episode of Making the Cut. This is your host, Marcus Mook Washington, and I'm here with Brandon Blake tonight. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing all right there. How about yourself, Luke?
I'm hanging in there, my man. So Saturday night, we saw the return of Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao, I guess you could say, had an impressive return, depending on how you want to define impressive. He took on champion Jesse Vargas. And I think the thing about the Vargas fight was that a lot of people wanted him to fight Terrence Crawford. And somehow, some way, they didn't make that fight, even though both of them are with top-ranked boxing. So it's one of those fights that should be easy to make. You're not dealing with different boxing umbrellas. So I think it was a lot of disappointment. But what Manny did was he showed flashes of the old Manny. He went out and you saw that kind of jump in, jump out, odd angle punches. He did score a knockdown in the second round. So a lot of people were hype. I mean, uber hype. And one of the things I wrote today was about the fact that, of course, once Manny won, everyone starts to talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I just don't think that's a fight that we're going to see happen, even though ESPN's Dan Rafael said today that it will happen. Now it's only a matter of time before it will happen. But I felt like Manny Pacquiao strategically took Jesse Vargas because it was a name that some people were familiar with, so it wasn't a total nobody. He did get a knockdown. I had it scored 116-111. I know the scorecards was 118-109, 118-109, and 114-113. I absolutely positively don't know where that 114-113 came from. I thought I was rather fair at 116-111. I thought that Manny won 8 of the 12 rounds, and then he gets the extra point for the knockdown round. But just ask you, if Pacquiao fought Mayweather again, would you buy that fight pay-per-view knowing it's probably going to be $100 again?
No. Next topic. I'm kidding. No, I just, we did that. We've seen the movie. Well, we back up. We waited, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, way past the prime of, personally the prime, in my opinion, prime of Manny Pacquiao, waiting for Mayweather and Pacquiao to fight. We waited this long. We saw it. It happened. It didn't live up to anybody's expectations. It was over. Let's move on. I don't think I would. When I saw the fight a few years ago, a while back, I know I didn't pay $100 to see it. I don't think I would do it this time. And maybe a little hot takey, but I just don't see the people clamoring for that just because of what I mentioned earlier is we had 5, 6, 7 years for it to happen. It never happened because of drug test, and take what you will. Pacquiao going to take a drug test or ego or money or what have you. We, the boxing viewing public, waited all this time, was waiting for it. It happened. It didn't live up to it. And then, some outside of the ring things definitely soured it. Pacquiao with his views, and just my opinion, Pacquiao with his, views, and then Floyd Mayweather with his dubious exploits away from the ring really put a damper on that fight when that the anticipation for that fight. So are people going to pay $100 if they fight again, even though that, ideally for boxing, people do want to see it? I don't think so. I don't think so because we just did that already. I don't see people shelling out that money for it.
And that's the thing that I would worry about is the fact that whether people will be willing to pay for it. And that's why I think Manny wanted to be impressive in this fight. Because when you really look at it, Manny knows if you're fighting Floyd, you have to make the fight, okay? So what you're going to have to do is cut off the ring, and you're going to have to do those things. If you don't, then Floyd's going to win easily, which is what happened the first time. Now, again, I've said this several times, and I'll keep saying this. I felt like the person who did it the best seemed to me to be Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton and Maidana the first time. Both of them cut the ring off. Both of them made Floyd feel uncomfortable at times in the fight. I mean, that's what you have to do to Floyd. Manny followed Floyd around the first time, and I don't buy into the whole I had a hurt shoulder, so on and so forth. No, you didn't.
Right.
No, that's garbage. You laid an egg because I honestly think they outthought the fight. I know that Freddie Roach has said this whole time leading up to the fight, he kept saying, hey, we have a counter to all of Floyd's traps. We have a counter to all of Floyd's traps. And I think what ended up happening was that made Manny not be Manny. Manny got into the pocket, and then he didn't throw, which is why I always tell people when people frequently say, oh, well, Floyd ran. And I say, no, hold on a second. Floyd's in the pocket a lot more than what people are thinking he is. Manny didn't throw. And I think part of that was Freddie Roach's fault. Because I do think he was almost overtrained for that fight. So, I mean, I don't want to see a second fight, to be honest with you. I'm along with you all the way up to the point where would I watch it the second time? Yes, because I write about boxing and I know I'm going to, I know me. But I can understand where you're coming from. In fact, I think the better fight is if Pacquiao does fight Crawford, or if Bob Arum, and Lord knows, I don't know if this is going to happen, but if Bob Arum can really sit down with Al Heyman from Premier Boxing, then I think you really get a great fight if Pacquiao fights the winner of Danny Garcia and Keith One-Time Thurman. The problem I have with Manny, and the reason why it might sound like I'm giving Floyd a free pass, is the fact that I think with Manny, if it was a situation where there was no one at 140 or 147, and that was the only fight, then it would be different. But that's not the only fight. There are 3-4 fights in that division, and I mean high-quality fights, in that division that Manny can fight, where it doesn't even involve Floyd Mayweather, like on any level. And I think that Manny should take those fights. I want to be honest with you. I was disappointed when he avoided Terrence Crawford this time. Now, depending on whose story you believe. Now, Manny said that he was never offered the Crawford fight. Bob Arum, who runs Top Rank Boxing, who oversees both those fighters, said he gave Manny a list of fighters to choose from, and Terrence Crawford was on that list, and Manny just decided not to take him. So, it goes back down to who you believe in that case. But just a sidebar to this. So, me, I wasn't going to Vegas to see the fight. I didn't want to pay $60 for it. And there was no replay because Top Rank put on this production without HBO or Showtime. So it was a one-time show. Bob Arum made sure that there was no replay to try to drive up sales of pay-per-view. I get this. But, so I wanted to go somewhere to watch it for free. If there's ever a place that I hate, it's Buffalo Wild Wings. I think Buffalo Wild Wings is the most overrated wing chain establishment ever known to man. I have to ask you, Brandon, am I the only one who feels that way?
Luke, I have thought about this. Seeing the commercials, and all of that. I haven't frequented Buffalo Wild Wings or two in my day. You are, without a doubt, 100% correct when it comes to Buffalo Wild Wings. My God, that is the. I'll tell you, I went there with my father and my younger brother. We went there once just sort of to hang out, just to chat up. We hadn't seen each other in a while. The wings, I don't think it's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible. There are plenty of places you could eat where it's terrible, but it's just so just there. It's just. I don't think it's just there. You go for the atmosphere. If you want to sit on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Monday and watch a few games and knock back a few, then yes. But I'm not going there for the wings. So I recommend if you are going to go watch if this fight does happen, I recommend probably maybe a wing zone. I'm not a wing zone. I'm sorry, a wing stop or. Don't go to or anything like that other than Beef O'Brady's or hell, man, just stay at home because man, Buffalo Wild Wings. Nah, I can't do that.
So on Sundays, let's just real quick flip to something like the NFL Sunday Ticket, or maybe on a Saturday over college football. Down where you are, if there was an establishment, and I hate to give out free press because. They should have to pay me for this. But if there was an establishment that you wanted to go to watch a game, what is the best atmosphere you have down there?
Well, there's a thing because in Pensacola there was a place called New York Knicks, Nicks. The guy there, he's from New York, obviously. Went to Syracuse. That was sort of like a bar restaurant type of atmosphere, very cozy, very, I wouldn't call it a dive bar, but you don't impress, you don't have to dress or impress or anything like that. Very cozy place. I frequented that place when Florida won the 2006 national title game and the 2007 national championship. So it was a great place. It actually closed in April. So if that place was open, I would recommend it. In that area. Really, to be honest, in the area, you normally go to most of the chains. There's a Buffalo Wild Wings here. There's a place called BJ's, which is a brewery and a restaurant. It's a little bit more spacious than New York Knicks, so you lose that intimacy. But they have really good food, really good beers, a lot of selection of beers. That would be the place I would go in that area if you wanted to. If you're not a big chain guy, and I'm fine with chains, just not Buffalo Wild Wings. But those are the places in that area, in Pensacola where we go. At Gainesville, where I went to school at UF, there was more of a lot of places. There was a place called Gators Dockside, the Swamp, not the stadium, but the restaurant. Was very right across the street from the actual stadium. A few of the places that you would go and sit and have a drink and, catch the games there. Notice I'm, avoiding Buffalo Wild Wings at all costs. Please don't go there. But I don't know because there is another place that's in that Buffalo Wild Wings vein called Beef O'Brady's. I don't know if you guys have them up north. We have them here. And it's pretty much those in that same vein as Buffalo Wild Wings. It's like, it's not bad. I'll put it to you like this. A friend of mine who used to work at a financial institution would go there for lunch on Mondays. And the running joke was mediocre Monday. We'll have it at Beef O'Brady's. That's what he called it. That goes to show you the food there. It's just there. People go for the atmosphere. So
that is terrible. And around here, it all depends